Hey, I want to talk to you today about kind of like problem solving. How do you how do you make a decision? You can bounce things back and forth. You can weigh all the different options you have. You can do all of that stuff. But at some point you have to make a decision. And I have no idea who taught this to me. I've been using this golly for years. It's a simple 6-step system. Now I know right away there's some people out there because I'm in your group. Somebody starts telling me there's five easy ways to whatever, 7 blah blah blah, 6 da da da. So how do you remember it? This one's easy because when you make a decision, you want it to be a wise decision. You want to have some wisdom involved in it. And wisdom is a great acronym for what it is that we're going to do. W-I-S-D-O-M, wisdom. Easy. So what's the W stand for? What's the problem? Sooner or later, you have to actually define what the problem is. And this is a thinking process. Really kind of think about from all the different angles. Imagine putting this problem or the issue like on a table or on a chair and literally walk around it and look at it from different perspectives. Kind of like take the 360-degree circle view of what it is that you're wrestling with or trying to figure out, or however you want to think about it. Look at it from different perspectives, different points of view. There's yours. How does it affect other people? Imagine you being one of those other people and go over to where they are in relationship to the problem. So as you consider the problem, before you get to the solution, under really kind of understand it. And I love that word understanding. What does that word mean? It just means to stand under. When you're up on a bridge or a trestle or something and you're looking out, you have the view. Sometimes if you get underneath it, you literally stand under it and you look up at it, it has a whole different perspective. You see different things. So that's what I'm getting at is as you look at what's the problem, bring wisdom into the solution process. Actually consider different points of views, literally, so that as you define and get more and more clear in your mind what this problem is, you can see it much, much more clearly. It goes into the next letter, I for investigate. So this is your investigation process. That's the first part. What's the second part? What's been done before? Once in a while, one of you are really lucky enough to have a unique problem that nobody else in in the history of humankind has had to face what you're facing, or has had to wrestle with or struggle or just make a decision like yours. But assuming that somewhere in the history of humankind, something similar has happened to people and they had to make a decision about it. What was their decision? What went into it? Why did they decide to do it that way? That leads into this investigation so that you really understand or standing under this problem. You've looked at it, seen it from all different perspectives and points of view. So investigate. And imagine yourself as a detective. Maybe go out and collect eyewitness views or opinions from other people. We're going to get into that in a minute, what you do with other people's points of views. But um, really thoroughly just kind of investigate. Look at the history, look at all the different possibilities, and then S, seek. Seek wise counsel. So again, we're playing obviously with the word wise and wisdom. I hope that you have some people in your life whose opinions, points of view their level of wisdom, understanding, education is such that you trust what it is that they're saying. Not to follow, that's not what I'm suggesting here. But but they know enough, they have enough. I always tell people, get somebody with some gray hair. It doesn't necessarily mean that they've actually learned some things along the way, but hopefully they've learned a few things along the way. They've been around the block a few more times than you, and they didn't just go around the block. They didn't actually kind of just like spend time in life, but they actually learned some things while they were doing it. They made some observations. Maybe they changed or transformed certain things in their life that they said, I think I can find a better way to do it. Just because my parents did it that way, or my grandparents, or my great grandparents, or the great 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 grandparents. There might be an innovative way of actually doing this. And hopefully, as you seek their counsel, and discover their perspectives, that you might come up with the right solution, the right path, the right direction, the right conclusion for you that will work. Now, I think it's important when I suggest the word opinion. We've talked about that in other videos. Everybody has one. It's like they're like belly buttons. And oftentimes they're about as useful as our belly button is. So in your investigation part, as you're now talking to other people and seeking other wisdom, really consider the source. Is this just an opinion, or is it based on experience? Has somebody faced the same thing that you have? Maybe they invented something or innovated a solution that really works well for them. May or may not work for you. But spend some time there on the seeking out others. Spend some time, both S's. Spend some time there, and just ruminate. Just take it all in, and especially if it's a big decision, take it all in. Just kind of consider what other people have said. The next letter is D. D is develop. Develop your own solution. Now, if you're just going to blindly do what everybody else does, you're going to go follow the herd, you don't need to be watching these videos. And chances are you're not going to, because we kind of go into how to live life a little more deeply, a little bit more fully, a little bit more completely in these YouTube things. How do you bring the science of psychology, mind science, spirituality, all of that into our daily living, so that we can live in a different dimension? Another D word. But it's develop your own. What's your own path here? And just because it's never been done before doesn't mean that the innovative way that you're going to solve the solution might not actually maybe even change history. Might make that much of a difference and have that much of an impact on the world. And people will go back and think about the method that you developed. Why not? But my point is that as you come to a solution, as you're deciding about it, you've looked everywhere, you've talked to other people, you've considered everything. Just because nobody's ever done it that way, it doesn't mean that you have not come upon, because of your own wise thinking and wisdom, a better mousetrap, so to speak, that you're innovating and developing a slightly better way that works for you. So trust it, try it, see what happens. Now, as you come to that conclusion, my suggestion at this point is the O part of wisdom is openly share what it is that you've found, what it is that you're thinking about, what it is that the decisions are that you've come to conclusions, before you actually take action. Why? Because as you take action, you may find that there's some resistance from the marketplace in what it is that you're doing. Everybody might not just fall in line and say, hey, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. I'd rather cut my own, thank you very much. I can adjust for the thickness that I want in my sandwich. Or Texas French toast. I was in the other day to have some breakfast, and I saw this plate of bread come out. It looked like it was a half a loaf, and it was like two slices of Texas thick bread. Probably delicious, but a little bit more French toast than I would have wanted. But anyway, take it into the open market. Be open about what it is that you're thinking. Now, again, not necessarily with friends, but just people who are in your field, who are doing the work that you're doing, or people who have achieved sort of the next levels that you're looking at and wanting to go to, and share your ideas with them. Get some feedback. What are they saying? What are they thinking? What are the ways that maybe they'll challenge you? Or go back to the wise counsel that you were seeking before and talk to those people. Now that you've thought about this a little bit, this is what you're thinking. Try it out on. So they say, oh, that's brilliant. Why didn't I think of that? And others may say, not so good, and here is why. Now, the reason we're spending some time on this in the open sharing is just because somebody sees some flaws or sees why they think it might not work, doesn't mean that in your hands, following your capabilities and your natural skill set, that it may work for you. It's like the first person who did a two-handed backhand in tennis. Nobody ever hit the backhand with two hands. It's awkward. It limits the range that you can swing. It does double the power though, doesn't it? And it supports the backhand, which is a weaker movement in tennis than the forehand. You're just using the muscles differently. That may be something that a solution that you found. Trust yourself as you go through this process. Trust your own wisdom. We are so negative so often in life, and we don't necessarily value our opinion or how we're doing it or the inspiration that we get. Trust that you're not alone here in this universe, that there are energies all around us that are there for you and supporting you, and so delighted and happy that they have found an open receptor in you, and that in your reception of it and willingness to try it and consider it, everybody else is like, we've talked about the lawn fairies and things. They're all dancing. The leprechauns are so excited that, hey, here's a person who's willing to go with this. We know it's a lot better. We know it's easier. We know it's simpler. We know it's much more effective. And we're so grateful to you for trying it out, that you'll help so many people. So after you've shared it openly with people, just because there's naysayers, there's always naysayers. Use Pareto's rule. Out of 100 people, 80 of them, well, 20 of them are going to say no. 20%. You're going to say, out of the, guaranteed, they're against whatever it is. The other 80% are kind of neutral. And then in that 80%, there's 20% that know you, like you, and they're going to support you no matter what. So that brings it down to about 40% of the people who are kind of like, I don't know, let's see how it works. Let's try it out. So that 40 plus the 20 that are in your corner, you got 60%. Let's go for it. All right. And then the final letter in wisdom, M. Guess what that stands for? Move. Take action. There are so many of my clients who struggle, worry, spend hours thinking about the problems and the and coming up with all these different solutions. But sooner or later, you got to take action. So take action. Now, I know there's a book out there that says ready, fire, aim. The point the author is trying to make is take action. At some point, take action. I like the idea of actually having a target. You know, you waste a lot of energy and everything else if you're not like on purpose, on point. So I'm not going to argue with the author of that book. Okay, they've persuaded lots of organizations to follow that, and lots of people have had lots of success with it. So if that works for you, fine. But in the wisdom technique, we're at that point where you need to fire, you need to go, you need to take action, you need to move. So there's that M, move, do it. And let us know what the results are. Write some comments. Let's share. Let's talk about this. Very simple technique. The wisdom technique for getting things done. As always, it's been my pleasure to spend some time with you today. I wish you the very best in all the things that you're doing in your life. And I know to the medical community that helped me begin this channel, and that I talked to a lot of you, and we've got a meeting, another big group with the nurses coming up this week. I can't wait to be with you. But for all of us, wherever you are in your life, check in. Let us know. Let's talk about what you're doing and where you are and how you're finding this. Love you all sincerely from the bottom of my heart. You know, there's those of us who are still out here trying to do some good in the world, trying to make a difference, and you know, all we're doing is giving each other a hand on our journey home. We're all going to the same place. So there's no surprise here. We know what the final destination is. It's just, how are you going to do it? Can you stay on course? And I think with a little wisdom, you can. And then the moving, follow through, follow through. Follow through in thinking, first of all, and then follow through in actual action. And actually, the next video that I'm going to post up here, we're going to talk about follow through, why it's so important, and what happens when you don't. Stay tuned. Remember to like it, share it, subscribe. Looking forward to being with you. And we're still doing a course, probably going to, I'm looking at the schedule here where we are at this point. Those of you who are seeing this live or relatively live, we're in August. So this course will be in September of 2025. If it's after that and you're seeing this, that course is probably on the website. It's not the same as doing it live because there's not the opportunity for interaction. But I'm thinking about maybe we'll have an inside community in the platform that I'm building the website on. And so there will be a place for that. So great to have you part of this. I'm so excited about the growing interest in all the stuff that we're doing. So please feel well wherever you are in life, whatever's going on for you in life. Please feel welcome here. No judgments. Just come, be yourself. You know, bed hair is fine. You don't have to dress up. Nothing fancy about who we are, where we are, what we're about, except to help one another. Namaste. Thank you.